How's it going, everybody? I am the Texas Man. Welcome back to the channel and to another video. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day and night. Hope you guys are also having a great weekend. Just a couple quick things before we get into this video. Monday, I will be doing Designated Survivor Season 1 review for you guys, along with the fact that I will be doing a Call of Duty World War II stream as a last hurrah, probably the last time that I will play Call of Duty World War II with Call of Duty Modern Warfare coming out this Thursday. So I will be doing a Call of Duty World War II stream for you guys this upcoming Monday. Hope you guys will check that video out. Also on October 30th, I will be doing a Halloween stream around 2:30 p.m. my time. I will be streaming Doom 2016, Alien Isolation, Resident Evil 7, Friday the 13th, I'm sorry, and some other awesome horror games. I might stream some of the Overwatch Halloween of Rebels, all 4 seasons for that show. So first of all, I want to give a big shout out to a friend of mine, Ian. He and another friend of mine, Rose, both, I don't know if the word to say hate is viable, but dislike both shows. And if you guys are both watching this video, I want to know why. Because when we spoke last, you guys just said, yeah, they're both bad. They're both bad shows. And you guys never gave me an explanation. So I'm going to, in this video, because you guys didn't understand what I said, in this video and review, I'm going to rant for a little bit while reviewing and tell you why I think both shows are good in their own way. Both shows are not perfect. Both of them are not 10 out of 10 smash hits. Both shows have problems, okay? Both of them are not going to get a 10 out of 10. So, if you guys want to skip the rest of this video, I'm going to tell you for a fact, Star Wars The Clone Wars gets a 9.5 out of 10, and I will go into detail as to why. And Star Wars Rebels gets an 8 out of 10. So, those are my final scores. If you guys want to skip the rest of the video and you don't want to find out why I'm giving those ratings for both of those shows, click away. So, for Clone Wars, the first opening movie, not so great. I mean, it establishes the fact that Anakin, even though he's not a Jedi Master, gets Ahsoka Tano, one of the best Star Wars characters ever created, becomes Anakin Skywalker's apprentice. Now, let me make it very clear, Master, to have a Padawan. Okay? Because in Star Wars Rebels Season 1, Ezra Bridger ends up becoming Kanan Jarrus's Padawan. And Kanan Jarrus never became the rank of Master. Now, yes, Rebels takes place immediately right after Order 66, but you don't need to be a Jedi Master. You don't need to have a title to have a Padawan. That's all it is working your way through the corrupt society of the Jedi to become a Master. All it is a title. You could be a Jedi Knight and you could have a Padawan. You could be just a Jedi and have a Padawan. As long as you're not a Padawan, you can have a Padawan. Okay? So, moving on from that. Star Wars The Clone Wars. Amazing 6 seasons. Amazing 6 seasons. You can technically skip about half of season 1 and 2 because there's a lot of Jar Jar Binks nonsense in it. But you want to watch some of season 1 and 2 because it gives you backstory and insight to Ahsoka Tano, Captain Rex, Asajj Ventress, all the other Jedi. And Clone Wars and Rebels are both canon. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some people like, no, Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars The Clone Wars, they're not canon. Yes, they are. They were canon when George Lucas was in charge, and they are still canon even though Disney is in charge. So whether you hate the fact that they're canon, that's your own personal problem. But they are canon. And just to prove it to you, I Googled what canon means for you people. Canon, either by the story creators or the audience. So it is a story that is official. Now, let me also clarify for a fact. George Lucas, even though he wasn't the person that started out the Clone Wars show, he did help and give insight and whatnot. And he also gave insight and whatnot into Rebels. So they are canon in the fact that George Lucas did have hands-on with both shows. So if you're thinking, oh, Disney had everything to do with Rebels, George Lucas was still involved with giving, advice and whatnot and saying, yeah, no, don't do this in this episode. Do this, it'll be better. And so Disney has taken advice from George Lucas, which is why I'm actually considering being a little more hyped for episode 9 at this point. But as you can tell, I have all 6 seasons of the Clone Wars. I'm super excited for season 7, if you can't tell. And Ahsoka Tano, Side Adventures, Captain Rex. The big thing about Clone Wars is not only do we get to see what happens in between the events of Attack of the Clones and Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and getting to see like the second battle of Geonosis, the Battle of Felucia, so many other battles, the battle to try to take over Kamino by the Droid army. We get to dive into the fact that, the clones aren't just a bunch of mindless human being robots. Every single one of them has a different character and a personality to them. They're people that you want to hang out with. We also get to see there's a special episode. I believe it's in season 4. Might be wrong. I believe it's in season 4. Whole episode dedicated to the Clone Commandos based off the Clone Commando video game. And we also get to have a lot of awesome bounty hunter action with, the rise of Death Watch on Mandalore, and the Black Saber gets a show. I mean, yes, season 1 and 2, there's some really irritating Jar Jar Binks nonsense that those episodes you could definitely skip, and I highly encourage you guys to do so to save yourself not only time but your sanity. So that's why I'm giving Clone Wars 9.5 out of 10. Now with Rebels is kind of weird because it takes place after Clone Wars, and in order to appreciate Rebels, you have to have seen the Clone Wars, because you need the back knowledge of who Ahsoka Tano is, because Ahsoka shows up. She's still alive even after Order 66. She's alive, and there's a chance that she survives all the way up till the ending of Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and that she, along with Captain Rex, were also on Endor during Return of the Jedi. So we get a lot of revisited characters. Darth Maul is still around. He gets killed off in Season 3 by Obi-Wan on Tatooine. We get a bunch of cameos from, R2-D2, C-3PO, Lando Calrissian makes an appearance several times, but we'd also get to dive into a bunch of new characters, and there's a lot of humor. Even though it's Disney humor, it's still fun. So, that's just my quick abbreviation. If you guys want me to talk anything else specifically about Star Wars Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, I'm more than welcome to do that when I'm live streaming or whatnot. But I like Star Wars Clone Wars and I like Star Wars Rebels. The reason I give Rebels an 8 out of 10 is treading old ground. The biggest thing about about Rebels that I really enjoyed was probably the season 4 and how it leads into what happens into New Hope. And there's also a very big theory, and I believe J.J. Abrams may have confirmed that Ahsoka Tano and Ezra Bridger are going to show up in Episode 9. So if you hate and you think that Clone Wars and Rebels are both bad shows and you don't think they're canon and you just want to stick to the movies, I'm sorry, but if both of these characters, Ahsoka and Ezra Bridger, show up in Episode 9, and you haven't seen Clone Wars and Rebels, you're to be like, oh, so they are canon because we have to have seen all that stuff in order to understand this. Yes. Now, also, you don't have to watch Clone Wars and you don't have to have seen Rebels to understand the movies. You can be like a lot of people and you can just stick to the movies. Perfectly acceptable. One problem. If you stick to the movies, that means you also, if you stick to the movies, and you don't want to watch the TV shows, that also means you cannot watch Solo, a Star Wars story. Because guess who shows up at the very end of that film? Darth Maul. Wait a minute. How did he survive Phantom Menace? Oh, I need to watch TV shows to understand the fact that he didn't get killed in Phantom Menace? Okay, I'll just cross Solo off my list as the fact that it's a movie that exists. You can't do that, okay? What happens in Solo, a Star Wars story, even though it's a really bad Star Wars film, there's things in it that are done and things that are said in that past Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and Rebels shows that it all ties in. It's all in the same universe. So saying that, Clone Wars and Rebels, they're not canon, that's just dumb. It's dumb. I'm sorry. If you think Clone Wars and Rebels is dumb, is dumb, then you're dumb. Now, I will say, both shows, like I said earlier, they're not perfect by any means. They have flaws to them. There are certain episodes you can definitely skip after you've seen it once before. But saying both shows are just complete utter garbage, I don't understand your logic at all. Also, do not tell me that both of these shows are bad if you have not watched the show from start to finish. I have watched many shows from start to finish. For an example, Revolution, which I will be watching after I finish Designated Survivor. I will be watching both seasons of those. That show is garbage. But I can tell you, and I will tell you once I get to reviewing it, I will tell you why that show is garbage. Because I've seen it from start to finish, and I understand what they were trying to do, but it just didn't work out. Do not, in the live chat or in the comments section, say Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels is complete garbage if all you saw was the opening movie. Do not tell me Star Wars Rebels is garbage if you only watch season 1. Season 1 is kind of boring, but you kind of have to have seen it to understand and have a good understanding of character development. Season 1 does on from the books. A character from the books comes to a TV show. That's unheard of, people. Okay? And he's not a force user, and he doesn't, have a lightsaber, but he's extremely intelligent. Don't tell me both of these shows are bad if you've never seen them from start to finish. I'm probably beating a dead horse, but I want to stress that really hard, okay? Because some people I've talked to in these many years that I've been around, they're like, both shows are bad. I'm like, did you watch the thing from start to finish, or did you just watch 1 or 2 episodes? I only watched 10 minutes of one episode. I'm like, so you don't understand the context of what's going on, what happened before, and what it's leading into. It's like, no, I just watched it and it was garbage. Okay, so I'm talking to a moron now. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody that, I'm talking to. If you feel like I'm beating you to death and calling you names, I'm sorry. But the fact is, you can't watch something without seeing it from start to finish and saying it's bad. You might just get bored of it. You might be like, yeah, this isn't interesting. It just didn't grab my attention. That's okay. But to call something garbage without seeing it from start to finish is irritating. I know for a fact, I have a friend, they tried to start watching Lost. They watched, I believe, the first 8 episodes of season 1. And they're just like, yeah, it's not keeping my attention. It seems like this amazing show, but I'm just I'm getting bored. And I'm like, so you still think it's a good show? She's like, yeah, I don't have the time and the effort and the energy to keep watching it. And to know that there's at least 5 more seasons after I finish season 1, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to have the time right now. And I'm like, that's acceptable. Just don't call any show, especially a Star Wars show, garbage if you haven't seen it from start to finish. And that's going to drive me insane when the Mandalorian show comes out on Disney Plus, and people watch an episode in the middle of the first season, and they'll be like, "Oh, this show is so bad! It's such garbage!" Because something happens in it, whether it's political or religious or whatever, and they'd be like, no, this whole show is bad because of this one episode, because of this one moment. I'm like, chill, people, chill. Remember, it's a show. And I know you're probably like, it's a show. It shows, Doug. Why are you constantly whining about it? I'm like, because it's Star Wars. It's something that's dear to my heart. Now, although it's a fictional universe, it hasn't happened. Probably never will. Dear God, if we ever have a Death Star. um, that's so impractical. Moving on. But just both shows are good. Rebels is a great show. Clone Wars, amazing. If you dislike them and you hate them because you've seen every single episode, then you're a reasonable person, and you can write down a list of things that, moments that happened that you didn't like. Perfectly acceptable. I think I'm done. I think I ranted for a good while. Oh, I'd like to hear what you guys think. Do you think Clone Wars or Rebels is the better show, and why? Do you like both of them? Do you dislike both of them? Do you hate them with a passion? Why? But also keep in mind, if you haven't watched either one of the shows from start to finish, and you start talking about things that you didn't like or really liked, and you haven't seen the shows from start to finish, I'm sorry, but I'm going to mentally block out what you're saying because it's not going to matter a damn to me. It is what it is. You can't talk to somebody about something and not have seen it from start to finish. It's like trying to talk to somebody about like Stargate, for instance, Stargate SG-1, and saying, yeah, I watched the last episode. It was kind of a letdown is the fact that that's the last episode for the show. And I'm like, you do realize there's 10 seasons before that and like 2 movies that they made to actually tie in with season 10's finale to actually conclude the story. And people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, you hated that cliffhanger ending. It's called a cliffhanger for a reason. Just saying. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys all have a great night. I'm going to go do something that's not so rage-inducing now. Bye, guys.